When it comes to teen movies during like the early to late 2000s, a lot of people basically, think of such movies like Bring It On, Legally Blonde, 13 Going on 30, um, a lot of stuff from, that goes along the lines, and stuff like the Step Up trilogy. I mean, those are pretty decent, teen movies for a bit of a nostalgic flair, early 2000s nostalgia type. But, for me, when it comes to, teen movies during the 2000s, I like, the ones that are much darker and more angst filled, such as a couple of Gus Van Sant movies like Elephant and Paranoid Park. Those are pretty decent, movies. Mean Creek, Bully, 13, fuck, and some, oh yeah, The Rules of Attraction. A lot of those more edgy, angsty type films, because not only is it because I'm a dark kind of person every now and then, but you know, like reality in regards to your teen years, it's not about the geek getting the prom, going out with the prom queen. Oh yeah, Mean Girls is another early 2000s film that I forgot to mention. But yeah, in reality, it's not about scoring a winning touchdown, or dating your dream girl, or saving her from her worthless rich boyfriend or whatever, because life isn't always about that. It's not like what you see in those romantic teen movies. See, I tend to like more teen movies that are realistic, ones involving a group of troubled teens in dangerous situations, or stuff like that. But when it comes to the more lighthearted, teen movies, out of all the ones that were made during the early 2000s, the more lighthearted ones, I have to consider this one my personal favorite. Orange County is a very underrated, teen comedy from 2002. It stars Tom Hanks' son Colin as a kid from Orange County, California. Hence the title. Who wants to become a writer when he discovers a book written by his favorite author, played by Kevin Kline in a cameo towards the end. But his dysfunctional family keeps fucking him over, and when he sends a transcript to you know to Stanford University, it gets sent to the wrong the acceptance letter gets sent to the wrong person, because well, a slight shenanigan occurs. But I've always digged this movie, and not only because it's one of those raunchy American Pie type movies you would see, Road Trip or Euro Trip. I mean, it's also it's got a real realistic coming of age vibe to it. There are quite a few serious scenes in this movie, and that's what I love about it. I mean, I love those coming of age films in which the the protagonist has to realize that he's not a kid anymore. He has to grow up quickly in order to avoid making the same mistakes his parents made or something. And it's it's a very deep movie, even for a movie with Jack Black as his stoner brother, who I think is one of the best ones in the film. And so yeah, it's got a lot of good laughs, a lot of good heart, you know, and it's very, it's the definition of early 2000s teen nostalgia. If you ever want to go back to the days of MySpace, or although this was obviously before MySpace. I mean, I don't know when that happened. It was early, yeah, I don't know what the deal was. But anyway, so Very underrated comedy. It did not get like, it has like gained a significant like cult following, among like the teenage crowd, but it wasn't like a massive hit like the other, teen movies that I just mentioned. And I love the soundtrack to it. It has like a bunch of like, pop punk bands that I like, The Offspring, Social Distortion, Pete Yorn, Creeper Lagoon, and like some other bands that I forgot were on and like obviously Phantom Planet, California, their song, which then appeared on as the theme song to the OC, you know, just like a year or two after the release of this film. And like yeah, the soundtrack in the movie is pretty awesome. Obviously since it's a teen movie, there's gonna be like pop punk stuff, but there is one band that appeared on the soundtrack, but it did not get as much praise as it should have. Like what the other bands on the soundtrack did, and it's this band. This is a band called Sugarbomb. They have only released like two albums. They're from Fort Worth, Texas. They're like a power pop, punk group, and like they've often like been compared to such, groups as like XTC, Todd Rundgren, uh, the Beach Boys, and Queen, which I can understand the latter part because the lead vocalist kind of has like a similar vocal, similar to like Freddie Mercury from Queen, and like this is a pretty solid band, and this is a pretty solid album. The song that appeared on the Orange County soundtrack was "Hello," which also appeared in Van Wilder, with Ryan Reynolds like the same year. But that song did not appear on that soundtrack. But anyway, the song "Hello" unfortunately does not appear on this particular album. It actually appears, I think, like the album before it. I think the album's called "Bully," and like this is their album "Tastes Like Sugar." Oh wait, no, this album came out before that other album I just mentioned, Bully. So yeah, this is actually their debut album. So, and well, that doesn't matter because like I mean, it just, I recognized the band title when I saw this album at uh at that old record shop, TechNoir Records, before it shut down, in January 2020. But not because of COVID, but because like the rent just went up and they just couldn't keep it open anymore, which fucking sucks. I mean, I love that place, but anyway, so yeah, I recognize the title of the band because one of their songs appeared on Orange County. Actually, the song "Hello" on the Orange County soundtrack was actually a hidden track on that said soundtrack. So I don't know if like other imports or versions, have that song. But I mean, I guess that means like the U.S. release of that album doesn't particularly have that song on the album. But I could be wrong. But that's just my guess. But this particular album, I pretty much dig. You know, I love a lot of early power pop stuff like Letters to Cleo. You would have to like consider like early power pop, and like Sid Ferris kind of. And this band is kind of similar, although the lead vocalist is a male. The bands that I mentioned are like fronted by female vocalists, obviously. Well, anyway, so they like I said, they're from Fort Worth, Texas, but they do not get the recognition that they deserve. And like a lot of the stuff on this album are actually pretty. My favorite is "What a Drag," because it has like an early like Dinosaur Jr. type feel, when you listen to it, or like guided, or like later Guided by Voices, when they stopped doing their mostly like lo-fi sound, when they started becoming more like traditional alternative. and and it's also got like a Wilco, you know, vibe to it. It's got, you know, and I liked. I don't know if that's like the single. This particular album does not have a particular single to the album, but I that doesn't matter because like you know sometimes you know the filler is just as good as like the single. You know you can't like it's like you know appreciating more of Nirvana's like you know earlier stuff like underground stuff besides like you know Lithium and their more commercial music. But anyway, so like I said, I mean, if you like this shit, if you like, you know, the bands that I mentioned from the Orange County soundtrack, or any of the bands that they're often compared to, like I said, XTC, Beach Boys, and the other stuff, I would, you know, seriously, if you find this anywhere, pick it up, and maybe you know, see if you can find the other album. Like I said, this is one of the only two albums that they've made. So they've like since broken up. I don't know what the other vocalists, the musicians are doing nowadays, but eh, you'll never know. I mean, it is a crazy world we live in. They could like get back together. They may not, but you know, we'll see. So if you find this anywhere for like $2 or $3, pick it up and just see what you think. So, Sugarbomb. Their album Tastes Like Sugar, released through RainMaker Records. I've never heard of that label, but okay. So, and as always, thanks for watching.